that's true. Naked Palpatine.
Oh, you pick that one. Fresh out of the clone tank, nude Palpatine is my
Well, that's the first thing I think of when you say Dark Empire Palpatine.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe, narrated by Disney, or Lucasfilm, current Lucasfilm, Corellia Slice It, Legends. Got a bit of a sore throat, so I'm going to keep this a little bit shorter than usual, but I have for you today some things. First, I just want to mention Jade Solitaire, which is a short story about how Mara Jade gets the Jade Fire ship. It's pretty decent, nothing horrible about it or anything. You don't need it, but it is a story about Mara Jade. So if you like Mara Jade, it's a story worth reading. Then we have Ambush at Corellia by Roger McBride Allen. This book is a lot of setup for the next two books. So if you don't like that, you're going to be very bored by this book. That being said, I had a lot of fun with it. The kids in this book really shine. You know, the only other book where they really got to be the center focus was Crystal Star. And they will not shine this much again until the young adult series, Young Jedi Knights, and then as we get into New Jedi Order. But this trilogy is actually essential, I feel, like very essential to everything moving forward, to every big story you're going to read about, because Thraken appears multiple times in future stories, who we'll get to later, and so does the mysterious Centerpoint Station. Whether that be New Jedi Order or onward, this place matters. So I feel that this trilogy is an essential piece of your EU viewing, even if this first book may be a bit slow, very slow, as it is mostly just set up. That being said, the character interactions are really fun, it's really great. Han is going to Corellia with his family, and there's a mysterious human league on this planet Corellia. Well, there's 5 planets in the Corellian sector. This is also a great way of learning about Han, because of course we have those books, you know, prequel books about him, but this is a time where you get to learn a little bit more about Han and his people and stuff, so if you like Han, I feel it's a good trilogy for that. In this first book, there's a lot of interesting things discussed. It's just like I said, it's all building up, it's all set up for future developments. So, it's not the best book in the world, especially if you're reviewing it by itself. But I think it's still a pretty solid book, it's just slow. But I like it. Luke is going with Lando on an adventure to find him a wife, which is very Lando and very fun. And, yeah. I think that's it for non-spoilers wise. As I said, not too much happens in this book. There's this character named Kalenda. She's kind of like this agent person, and she's trying to warn Han about the dangers of coming over here and stuff, because they gotta, Leia's gotta do some politics stuff here. But the stuff it discusses, is really interesting. With, Corellia remained, all the planets and stuff, all the peoples, because there's different alien races that live there and stuff. They all lived in harmony because they were forced to, because the Empire forced them to. But now that the Empire's gone, they're wondering, why should we be at peace? So, it's really interesting. And I know I'm trying not to judge it based off of the other 2 books, but I do think it does good setup for the stories to come. And I do highly recommend it. What else do I got? There's a dinner scene with the kids and with Leia and Han, and I thought that was really good because it deals a lot with, Leia's fear for kids turning to the dark side, which I thought was very poignant, considering the future. Um, but also just seeing the sass that they give Han and, the sort of family dynamic. I like the little small moments. Mon Mothma and Luke out of all people, have this amazing discussion about, well, you kind of hit your peak, right, Luke? You've kind of done everything you had set out to do. You've rebuilt a new Jedi Order. Eventually, it's going to get bigger, though. What are you going to do when it gets bigger? What kind of person are you going to be? You going to get involved in politics? He's like, no, that's my sister's area. Well, then you're going to be a puppet. Because someday something will happen, and if you're not ready for it, other people are going to take advantage of you. I thought that was all really well written, and the Mon Mothma and Luke conversation was just phenomenal. I'm glued to the page. The kids get these like nannies or like people to watch over them on Corellia, which is Q9, a robot droid, and I forget the race, his species, and his name. I think it's a Drawl, but this Drawl like tourist guide. And they're really fun characters, and I really enjoyed them in this trilogy. But especially this first book, I thought they were really fun. It's interesting with the context of the prequels. And even though the Separatists weren't really that evil in the sense that they were mostly being pawns, for Sidious, it's interesting how Leia worries about the Corellian system becoming independent and becoming separatists. And seeing as how that's all kind of connected now, it's just kind of funny how it comes that way. And of course, the ending. We'll learn more about him as we get into future books. But we finally get to meet the evil twin. Not actually, it's a cousin, but still the trope of an evil twin. Thrackan Sal Solo. Han Solo with a mustache. And as we get a new Jedi Order and onward, Han Solo with a beard. So just picture Harrison Ford with a mustache, and you have Thrackan Sal Solo in this trilogy. And as we move forward through New Jedi Order and whatever other stories he appears in, just old Harrison Ford with a beard. That is Thrackan. And now, you don't get too much of Thrackan here. He's kind of just introduced at the very end, but it is a fun little twist, and it's something I feel that Star Wars can kind of get away with like the evil twin trope, where it's like, oh, why does this bad guy sound just like me? And then they find out by the end of the story, oh, because he looks just like you, because it's your cousin. It's kind of cheesy, but at the same time, it's really cool. And this might be a hot take, but I think next to Thrawn, in the Bantam era, Thrackan might be the best villain we've had, up until the Vong show up. But yeah, I definitely think, even though this is kind of more of a build-up, set-up book, I still think it's worth reading. And I think the character interactions make it. I think the stories and ideas that are brought up that are set up in here are really interesting. Like the mystery of Centerpoint Station, this very, very, very old station, older than the Republic itself. What is it? What can it do? All those things are, for especially first-time reader, absolutely really interesting to learn about. And even knowing about what goes on with a lot of these things, it's fun to read it, to reread how it got introduced and stuff. But that's pretty much it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, sharing episode a ton. Don't forget to subscribe, and next time, we'll see what else Thrackan and Centerpoint Station have to do in the next book in this trilogy. Until then.